So the chapter 3 review, page 2, we're looking at a reflection over the x-axis and then a rotation 90 degrees centered at the origin. So first we reflect over the x-axis, C goes there, C prime, A down to here, and B through here, okay, and B prime. Now we're going to rotate 90 degrees. So right now we're in quadrant 4. We're going to have to go back up into quadrant 1 with the second image. Now what I'm going to do is, probably with C to start with, I'm going to count back to the origin. So what I do is it's up 3, and then, so basically my change in Y is 3, my change in X is 1. I'm going to switch that. My change in X will be 3, and my change in Y will be 1, so that I get to the proper quadrant. That's kind of how I do all of them. So it's 3, 1. A is going to be at 8, 1, right? So the change in Y would be 8, change in X is 1, switch it. Change in X from the origin, from the center, is 8, and then the change in Y will be 1 to get to the second or the first quadrant. B, my change in Y will be 7, my change in X will be 4 to get to 0, switch it. Change in X is 7, change in Y is 4. Okay, so that's your double primes. Now, what we can see from this is the single move is the second question. The single move that will take B to B double prime will be a reflection over the line Y equals X. Same with C to C double prime, and of course, A to A double prime. Okay, so it's the line Y equals X is, that's not the rule, but that's the description. Okay, now the rule is XY maps to YX. So the X and Y coordinates are going to change. So if you look at the original A should be at 1, 8. The original B is at 4, 7. The original C is at 1, 3. Those switch after a line reflection of the line Y equals X. All right, next one. Reflection over the x-axis and then a reflection over the y-axis. So there's my reflection over the x-axis, and now I'm working on the reflection of that over the y-axis in sequence. So this is a sequence. So the second transformation is performed on the first image rather than on the original, anytime we do a sequence. Okay, so now what you should notice is from A to A double prime, okay, we have a straight path with the middle at 0, 0. So that gives me possibly, that could possibly mean it's a rotation of 180. Then once I go C to C double prime, same, basically that's the straight path with the center at 0, 0. All right, that's going to give it away. Okay. So we're writing in the coordinates. That's the state the coordinates part. So don't miss that. Graphing is placing the points on the graph. Labeling is putting the letters there. Doesn't say to do that, but we really need to. State the coordinates is this part. Make sure your coordinates are in parentheses with a comma separating the x and the y coordinate. All right, what's single transformation? Should be a rotation of 180. Now you can't just say you can't just say rotation, and you can't just say 180 degree rotation. It's got to have an angle and a center. How do I recognize it? There's a couple ways. I actually would have said B to B double prime, A to A double prime, C to C double prime. Those all are straight paths through with a center at the origin. I'm going to kind of go with what we taught just most recently. Once you have orientation the same and two pairs of corresponding points, then one must have mapped onto the other if we used a sequence of rigid motions. Okay. Single rule. If you notice, it's the same exact numbers, but the opposite sign. So xy went to negative x, negative y. They were negatives originally, and then they became positives. We do that by multiplying by a negative. All right, so that should be it for page 2 of the chapter 3 review packet.